Now, I'm going to give you the most obscure side hustle that I've come across in recent times.
Pretty interesting about this one.
So you can make up to $180,000 a year. I don't know if it's available in Australia, but $180,000 a year, $500 a day.
How we doing? It's Yada Podcast time. We are here to educate, entertain, and lift the lid. My name is Russ, and on the left, I got my boy Aldo Cataldi. On the right, I've got Mr. Charles Liddell. It's another Yada Podcast. Keep it locked.
I'm on a podcast, Mum. I finally made it.
Yes.
Tick it off the bucket list.
Tell me, is this your first podcast?
It is my first podcast.
Oh, well, I'm glad to break the virginity there.
Like every other bloke, though, you tell one funny joke with your mates and it's like, we should be on a podcast.
I know. That's what we thought, and look at us now. I know. Well, for those of you guys who do pay attention and follow us, this is Nathan Catalano.
G'day.
We've known each other for a little while, and we've had a good time together. And Nathan, tell us a little bit about what your view on service in the industry is. Nathan's background is and current business supplies a lot of the appliances to many different builders, which we will not name. For obvious reasons, but obviously, given the boom that we've gone through and all of that sort of stuff, is posed a number of challenges for builders. But what people don't talk about is people like yourself that have to supply the builders.
Look, I think we are facing some issues within the building industry at the moment, and a lot of that comes around having a closed border for 2 years. WA needs 60 to 70,000 overseas workers, and we haven't had access to those workers, and we still don't to some degree, and that's across both the industries that I'm a part of, hospitality and the building industry. So what I'm finding within the building industry right now, especially from an appliance perspective, is the difficulty that builders are facing in handing over homes is hurting us in terms of supplying appliances to those homes.
Yeah.
Pipeline looks really good. I mean, there's just so many homes that have been sold and that are under construction, but a lack of material and a lack of labour is delaying those homes. I know some very big builders that have handed over 20% of what they usually would over the last sort of 6 to 7 months. So,
just because of the restrictions.
That's right. It's a difficult time. It's a difficult time.
So I think it sort of emphasises the point, having a good quality builder with a good reputation, a good supply chain, is more important now than it ever has been.
Without a doubt, if I was building a house right now and I had a builder who could commit to a short build time, and from what I'm hearing, they're blowing out anything from 2 to 3 years. So if I needed a house to live in and I could find a builder that could guarantee me, a home to move into in under 12 months, I'd be signing up immediately.
Yeah, which is what we're trying to do. But more about you, Nathan. One of the things that is my little sort of passion is understanding, what people do on the side. The little side hustle. Yeah.
Side hustle. So important.
For me, I'm always looking at opportunities that are reasonable amount of effort, but good return. I did a little side hustle with these skateboards that we're giving away at the moment. Went to China, got them all made pre-COVID. There's a couple left. That's why we're giving them away. Generated some nice cash flow. And for first home buyers and even second home buyers, as it becomes more challenging for them to achieve serviceability and home ownership, we're finding that these side hustles make a big difference to the ability of someone to be able to get into a home, even if it's just saving the deposit for a short period of time. So that is my segue into asking you, what are your favourite side hustles? And then I'm going to drop one on you, which is absolutely bizarre, and you tell me what you think of it.
Okay. Well, look, I personally, about 10 years ago, I started thinking about what I could do as a side hustle. I mean, you reach an age where you've got a mortgage and a young family, and you want to continue to drive.
26.
Yeah. You want to continue to drive your financial security going forward, and you think, well, I better have a crack at something. And for me, the space that I got involved with was the hospitality sector. It's something I'd always been very, very passionate about, and was involved in as a second job, ever since I was a kid.
Yeah.
So we, my business partner, Fiona Delanzo, who we have La Madonna Nera with in Mount Hawthorn.
You're going to have to say that again slowly so people can hear.
La Madonna Nera _V on Instagram.
There you go. We'll bring it up on the screen for you.
Interesting story about our Instagram too. It was recently hacked
No way.
and stolen.
No.
Yeah, it was incredible. Really weird experience. You hear a lot of it happening in the larger corporate sectors.
Yeah, you do.
And my own company that I work for, Shrura, was targeted at one point earlier in the year as well, which was pretty crazy. But to be targeted as a small kind of mum and dad outfit in the hospitality sector, and was really crazy.
Nuts.
And it's the only way we go to market as well.
Yeah.
So it was quite daunting for a while.
I can imagine.
Yeah, Instagram.
Well, it's where we live.
That's right.
That's right. For us, it allows us to expose our transparency and let people see who we are. So people come in and they're not sort of surprised, and we're not giving the glitz and glamour Photoshop bullshit. It's honest and real, which I think you obviously appreciate.
We were pulling our hair out for 2 months before we decided to, rather than pay the ransom, to relaunch and rebrand.
Well?
Oh, it was a ransom. Yeah, it was $1,500 US, and then it has to be paid in crypto, and it all got a bit too much, quite frankly.
Yeah, we're going to have to get into that one at some point. I reckon.
Yeah, that's
hilarious.
right. But getting back to the side hustle, it was a very collaborative experience between my business partner and I, and Fiona's a wonderful architect and designer. So it was a very in-house project where we knew that the design, the offering, the relationships could all be taken care of within our company and the people within our company.
So I'm getting a lot of passion behind it as well. So
wine and food, mate.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, you're ticking my boxes
Yeah.
there.
So we could see that Perth at the time was lacking in small niche spaces.
Yep.
It was a very large format. Perth for the last, probably 5 years ago, for the last 30 or 40 years, had been about the larger restaurant offering.
Yeah.
The 150-seat trattoria or the big hotel space. And we thought, wouldn't it be nice to open something that was small, intimate, and highly focused?
Yeah.
And we knew, obviously being of Italian background, and having been involved in the larger trattoria spaces all our lives, we wanted to focus on, Italian native varietal grapes and wine produced from that.
Yep.
And kind of elevated small plate Italian food. But we also wanted to have that Italianality informed by our experience in Australia as first generation Australian Italians. So the food is a representation of that. We use a lot of Australian native ingredients, and we have a little La Madonna Nera twist on a lot of our pastas, etc. For example, we do and we work with suppliers who share that philosophy. Black Pig Deli at the moment supply one of our salumi called lomu. It's the loin of the pig, and it's coated in an Australian native lemon myrtle.
Okay.
And it's delicious. And we
You're
shave
making me
truffle
hungry
all
here.
over that.
Yeah, making me hungry.
But we also kind of we work with local winemakers who are using Italian native varietals grown in Australia
Grown here, right.
and producing wine from that. So there's a lot of great Fiano, a lot of amazing Nebbiolo, Barbera, Vermentino. So we really drive that forward. We're very excited about that wine space. If I think about, where, Margaret River and what we've achieved in WA, only since the 70s.
Yeah,
it feels like a long
very
time
young.
ago. It doesn't. Oh, it is a long time. It doesn't feel like too long ago.
No, and the reputation is very young. It's very young.
Yeah.
And
New
I
world
think,
wine.
Yeah, and I think it's probably the only stigma internationally that we've got to sort of traverse is that it's very young. Even though a lot of the vineyard are actually spawned from the original vines, going back hundreds of years in some cases.
Absolutely. Well, we're producing world class Cabernet.
Yeah.
Out of vines that were planted in the 70s.
Yeah.
And it's an incredibly unique expression of Cabernet through Margaret River.
Yeah.
And that surrounding area. So when I think about Italian varietals that were planted in the 90s through the Adelaide Hills, in the Mornington Peninsula, in the Alpine regions of Victoria, and even in WA, and there's a lot of really wonderful winemakers right now investing heavily in plantings through our Great Southern region, which is perfect. Where will that go in 10 to 15 years?
Be interesting.
It could be anywhere. We're already producing some quality Nebbiolo and Barbera and Fiana. I think that the sky's the limit for Italian varietals.
It's brilliant because, I mean, it's also not done on those American volumes that they do.
No.
So it is that sort of passion as well. So I'm loving the passion that's coming out and how you speak about your food and your wine and obviously the venue as well is pretty exciting. So I'm hoping that something will come out of this and we can share that with our clients and our friends and family.
We'd love to work with you in that space.
So we'll try to do something there. But being a side hustle, has it paid dividends?
Well, mate, look, it's very successful, and we were very fortunate enough last year to take out WA Good Food Guide's Best Bar Dining, and we broke through the top 20 venues in the state, and we also broke into the top 5 bars in the state as well. But it's been incredibly challenging navigating the COVID restrictions. We were only 6 months old when COVID struck, and so for 2.5 of our almost 3 years, we've been trading under some form of mandate or restriction. So I'm very proud of the fact that we navigated that successfully. But financially, it's been challenging. We're a very small 80 square metre setup. We seat about 42. So when the 4 metre squared rule came in, that meant we could only trade with 12 people.
Yeah.
But because we're a high service model, we had to, it still meant almost a full team. And when you've got to pay a full team, but you're trading at 15 to 20% of your potential business, it makes it very, very difficult. So I'm hoping the government will step in and take care of the micro businesses that didn't have access to a lot of the, what the big corporates did with JobKeeper and that. But we'll see. I think there's a couple of people lobbying government at the moment, but who knows? Who knows?
But I mean, the fact that you've gone through that and you're still in top, you're sort of heading the curve as far as what's going on here in WA. It's amazing. A big shout out to you and your team.
Thanks,
I think that's brilliant. So
Thank you very much.
Let's hope it pays dividends this year as well. So,
I hope so too.
Yeah. So we'll come back to the curling one I'll throw at you, moving on from here at the end. But what's your favourite meal?
Of all time?
Yeah.
Oh, look, my mother does this. It's a dish from her hometown, and it's unique to this little town in Molise called Montecilforni, which is kind of a little peasant town on a hill with a church where if you walk through it within 2 seconds, everybody knows you're there.
Yeah.
And it's we call it lasagna in bianca. It's a lasagna. It takes a couple of days to make, but it sits in an incredibly kind of pure chicken broth made from old chickens. That's the key. And it's a white lasagna, so it's the shredded chicken that was used to cook the broth, little chicken meatballs, and lots of pecorino cheese. It is, and then it's baked in broth in the oven. It's the most incredible dish you've ever experienced in your life, and I would have to say that is without a doubt. Especially with a little bit of truffle shaved over the top.
So do you serve this as well?
No, we have served it once or twice in the early days.
Yeah.
It's very labour intensive, mate.
It sounds like it.
It's a special occasion dish. It was the dish that my grandmother would make at Christmas time and at Easter. And it didn't matter if it was 45 degrees in Giordano in a house with no air conditioning. You were digging into this very hot, kind of soupy, white lasagna dish. Incredible.
Sounds gorgeous.
Incredible.
Sounds gorgeous.
Yeah, a lot of good memories from that particular dish.
I feel like a Neanderthal when I said my favourite food is a burger.
Hey, I love a burger, mate. Don't get me wrong, I love a burger.
I'm very partial to to baby goat. I love baby goat if it's done well. If it's done nicely. There was a restaurant called Star Anise.
Yes,
and they
David
used to do it.
Kuma, absolutely icon.
Gorgeous. And unfortunately, it's not around anymore. We were saying that that's a shame to see that go. But love that. Best cocktail.
Oh, mate, look, I'm a Negroni man.
You were telling us about this special Negroni that you've been working on.
Well, we're doing this little Australian Italian pause week at the bar where we're exclusively pouring Italian natives that are grown here. So when Fiona and I were spitballing that last week, I thought, why don't we do an Australian Negroni as well? So we've found an Australian Campari substitute. It's a bitter called Davo's Plum, and we're using Mad Nye's sweet red vermouth, which is they're an Australian vermouth producer. And we love what Republic of Fremantle do with their gins. So we've taken their Shiraz inspired gin.
Yes.
And after a lot of R&D,
forced.
That's right. We've ended up developing this. I have to say, quintessentially Australian Negroni, if that's even a thing.
Oh, it sounds like it is a thing now.
Yeah, it is. It's incredibly delicate. It's immensely floral. But what I love about it is it has this kind of eucalypt end. Okay. It's really delicious, and
that could make or break it though. Like if it's too heavy, you're just gonna go.
Look. I'm a staunch purist when it comes to Negroni, but this is something really special. I'm glad we
I'm intrigued now. I've definitely got to have a look at this. The next question just goes without saying. The best bar.
I love Donaire and Matt Hawthorne.
Yeah.
Look, I'm what Foxtrot Unicorn do in the city is pretty special as well, mate. I have to say. We don't do all the smoky cocktail things, but also St. Bridget's in Doubleview.
Yep.
The boys from the Mechanics Institute.
Yes.
Have recently opened out there, and they're doing some great stuff, mate. And look, there's what I like about that level of bar is the amount of effort they go into in hand making their own bitters, their own sour mixes.
Yeah.
Everything is built from the ground up in those spaces. And I think that's very, very important, especially when you talk about some of the costs of
but
cocktails.
It also adds to the
city,
experience. I mean, and again,
Absolutely.
this sort of comes back to what we talk about, how important the experience is. You can go get any cocktail, pretty much any bar in the world, but is it going to be the same?
No.
And it comes back to houses. Is it going to be the same?
Yeah,
You've got the same materials. Is it going to be the same? I had to throw that in.
No. Well, I'm with you, and for me, in the building game as well, it's that hands-on experience, that level of contact that makes the difference. Because often, especially for young people, it becomes this kind of churn and burn. You're just a number. No one cares.
Very much so.
And it's like going and eating at a generic trattoria. Here's some spaghetti and meatballs. What's your order? You never see the waiter.
And it comes out of a big tub at the back.
And it does, believe me. It's Barilla No. 5 spaghetti, mate.
Correct.
But if you can access that level of service, that hands-on approach, that boutique builder style as a young person, I think you're going to kick some goals.
Yeah, well, we hope so. We're definitely going to try. It's a passion. So this is a side hustle that's turned into the main hustle now. It's kind of interesting. Now, best place for a romantic dinner? He's going to keep this one to himself. Look at this. I can see it. He's like, I'm not going to give my cards away.
I'm trying to think of. It's been a long time since I've been on a romantic dinner, mate. Let me tell you. Look, I think Fleur in the city is pretty special. And that team, that hospitality team, are epic. What they've done with Dandelion at Carrinup is very elevated for a shopping centre, let me tell you. But the Fleur experience, there's not a lot of really good French cooking in this city anymore. And they're certainly kind of leading the way in that degustation experience.
It was either that I thought you were going to go for, or I thought you might have gone for heritage just because of the wine selection.
Having that many, I don't know how they do it. I'll be honest with you.
It's amazing though, isn't it?
It is. It is 100 plus wines on pour.
Eye-boggling. Like you look at it and you just go, how on earth?
I can only imagine what that's costing them in Corrigan.
Yeah, I know. Mental. And we know what your coffee is.
It's geisha.
It's geisha coffee and it's black.
That's right. That's right, mate. Give me a double espresso and I'm all yours.
Sounds good. You're mine. Now, I'm going to give you the most obscure side hustle that I've come across in recent times.
Pretty interesting about this one.
So you can make up to $180,000 a year. I don't know if it's available in Australia, but $180,000 a year, $500 a day for pooping in a bag.
This sounds like one of those Instagram hustles, mate.
I will share the link with you.
Do you want to work from home?
Yeah, just poop in a bag.
I don't even want to know how
Isn't
that
mental?
works.
So
Yeah.
people who are tracking, biochemistries in certain age groups, and
Okay.
they will pay you to literally poop in a bag.
Where do I sign up, mate?
I will send you the link. Like, I was talking to Sammy about it. I'm going, can you believe this? And he's like, no, it's rubbish. It's bullshit, really. And I'm like, here you go. Have a look at this.
You
And
know,
like,
it's 2022, mate. And after the last few years, nothing would surprise me.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
What is it used for? Research.
they use it for research. So they look at what people are consuming. Obviously, there's a lot of bacteria and viruses and stuff that are going around now, and people's gut health and all sorts of stuff. So they tell you what they do with it on the website, but it just blows my mind.
I don't know. I feel like there's some kind of Dr. Evil thing going on there where they're building an army of poo clones.
Yeah, probably like that. Yeah, something like that. But yeah, it's absolutely bizarre.
Yeah, that is bizarre.
It's a real thing. But I'll share it for you and those of you who are interested.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to Google that, mate.
No, that's something else. I don't want to see what your Google history's like. All good.
Delete the browser, mate. Delete the browser.
Every day. Listen, really appreciate your time.
It's been a pleasure.
Really
Thank
look
you, man.
forward to getting you in again and showing everybody what we're going to do. We've got a couple of exciting things to do with some of the product that you represent. We're going to work hard to put something together there for our friends and clients and that sort of thing. So stay tuned, watch this space, and thanks
Super
again.
excited about going forward. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Anytime.
Thanks.